Hello and welcome, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Sorry for the little delay there. Thanks for your patience and catching our little tech delay there. I'm Maria, founder of Art Toolkit, and I'm thrilled to have you all joining us for our first live demo of 2024. Hello and welcome, everyone. Fix that little feedback.
Happy New Year.
And we are here joined by one of my favorite journaler sketcher friends, April Wu, who April, you have a podcast, the Stationery Cafe. You sketch daily. You're a travel journaler. We've met through projects with Travelers Company USA, sketching in Seattle, and demos online. And we're also here a year ago doing a Sketchbook Kaigi, a walkthrough of your journals from the year. And I'm so happy to have you back this year to inspire our daily practices.
It's an honor. It feels like a deja vu because I did this last year at around the same time, but feeling very honored to be featured as one of your first demos of the year. With Maria's introduction, I am a stationery enthusiast. That's an understatement, actually. But I call myself the professional diver of like the rabbit holes. So I love art, I love stationery, I love urban sketching. The intersection of all these creative hobbies resulted in this. Should I jump right into my tools?
Yeah, let's take a look at your tools.
Top down camera highlight time.
Here we go. And I just want to thank everyone who's here with us today too. And I'll be keeping an eye on the chat. So if you've got questions at any time, go ahead and post them and I'll do my best to relay to April and answer them. Oh my goodness, April, look at all your goodies.
I have to premise it with, not all of these things are easily accessible. I acquire some of them on my trips to Japan. I buy them through online shops that ships from Japan. Some of them are limited edition. So just a little walkthrough basically. But yeah, to start, basically this theme of this demo is building a daily art habit. But for me, I consider it more of like this creative lifestyle because it's not like a full canvas piece of art, but more of incorporations of not just journaling, writing, but also like doodles and stickers and ephemeras and all kinds of little things that kind of builds into my daily journal. And I use this system, which I introduced last year, called the Hobonichi, and it's a Japanese planner that basically designs a day of page, so you can see it's like dated. So one day you would get a blank page, and I use it to fill it with like little adventures of the day, or do those or little moments, kind of like this page. And the paper is great. It holds all kinds of medium for me, watercolor, gouache, whatever, stickers, tip-ins. And so it had resulted in this like huge stack. You can see this. This
wow.
is last year I started the stream with this demo with the thin book, right? And now it has become this massive deck.
Oh, that's terrific. Oh
daily accumulation of a little moment of intention, like daily art practice, yes, and also just finding that like 10 to 20 minutes of your day to try to record something, even if they're not significant, they can go in here. So this is what I hope to share a little bit with you guys soon, a little flip through. And it's kind of cool because I actually don't do flip throughs anymore on my social media because I write too many emotional things in there now. I don't share them publicly, but I picked out a few pages that I feel comfortable sharing and flipping through.
Well, it shows too that like our journals and sketchbooks can be like personal safe spaces too, just to like share and help get out, things in our head. And as you share too, I would be curious to hear some of what supported you with making it a daily habit, because I know that's a challenge for so many of us is, even if it is only 10 or 20 minutes to build some of that ritual. And something I personally have been embracing a bit is like daily-ish in parts of my life to like have a little compassion when I do miss a day. But would love to hear from you what helps support you. I assume you're not up at like 10 p.m. always being like, I gotta start my journal.
It's actually kind of cool that you mentioned that because the name Hobonichi in Japanese actually means almost daily. So
Oh,
it's like it's just perfect. The intention behind this book is that it is something that you can write in almost daily, like even if you don't have the time to fill in every single page. I have empty pages here. I think for me the motivation is the desire to be more intentional and like kind of try to appreciate moments more. But I mean, we all lived through the pandemic and we all kind of knew how scary it is for, life to just be taken away. So for me, it was treasuring that moment and allowing me to like value more the time I spend with my family, the time I spend with people I know about, and the time to appreciate cute little things in my life, and then like kind of make myself not focus, solely on work or other big responsibilities, but giving myself this little treat, I call it, like this 10 to 20 minutes. It's not a chore to do art. It's a treat to have that
Mm.
time for myself. So that mentality is the first starting point. And I think the one that really allows me to continue is seeing this. I think most people, will feel very accomplished about a filled book, right? Either it's a sketchbook or a filled notebook. This is like I have 9 of these already. This is my 2023 books, but I
Wow.
have a bunch of these from previous years. So you can see how like I feel like I'm now chained to this obligation. Just kidding, to this. I need to make my mark one way or another. But I do use other systems too. So like the Traverse Notebook, which I talked about in our previous streams before, and how I use it to like create art, document trips, document like little adventures. My favorite other tools, Art Toolkit, of course.
Mm.
Here. Um, because a lot of it is art, really, for me, because I love doodling. It really all started from doodles. And then slowly made it to urban sketching as a habit. So the art toolkit is perfect. I have the big one, the folio. My second palette from you guys, I think.
Looks like you're due for a little top up of some paints there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I even like pulled a few to put together other palettes. But I recently went to Japan last year, fall, and I inspired by a friend. I like prepare like a fall palette. Sorry, it's super dirty, but I kind of like a orange leaf, red leaf palette over here.
Uh-huh.
In the more portable travel and sketch palette here, the one that we did with the travelers. I didn't even realize. So these are like mainstays in my system, whether this one's on my desk, this one's with me in a pouch. I have my daily journaling tools, scissors. If I can bring them, I will bring them. Glue sticks for picking up and sticking down ephemeras on the go. Glue tape. I don't know if you heard about
Glue tape. That is cool. I've never tried glue tape.
So it's like a whiteout, but it's like retractables. Sorry, it's like a roller tape thing. So you put it down. It's just more manageable, I think, and easier to use than a glue that's less sticky. And you can do really precise angling. An eraser. I actually sometimes I'll bring a pencil, sometimes I won't. Especially for sketching. I recently just bought this really expensive pencil that I think it's like it's the most expensive pencil I own, but if those who are in the stationery world would know about this Uniball Kurotoga, which costs $99. It's a mechanical pencil that the moment you open the clip, the tip extends. So you never have to click or anything. And it's like this is the rabbit hole part of my hobby.
Oh, and does it bring you wonderful pleasure to use?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But you can just use a regular pencil, it's fine. Fountain pens with waterproof ink, great for urban sketching. I've showed this a few times. This is the one that it's a Twisby that I modified to a Fude nib. So you can do thick and thin lines. Oh, there, my dog decided to join me. He was having a little chaos moment earlier. Little sort of like the uni pin fine liners, but these are by Marvi Uchida. I picked these up when I was in Taiwan last year. But they're basically like the zebra what is that? So no, sakuras, the microns,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, the little micron pens.
The pin pens. So
Yeah.
I love 0.1, 0.4. I think these are like two perfect sizes for a very crisp exterior, and then for 0.1 for the shading and detail. So I always just do these two. The spritz thing I got from you guys. It's like so convenient, the little spritzy water thing to activate the paints. And then let's see, water brush, obviously. I really like this tip, this kind of like flat brush like tip.
Oh, that's the fatter one by Pentel.
Oh, I highly recommend this because this one you can tilt it to make thin lines, but then you can also cover up more space, more larger areas with the flat side. Highly recommend this type. I have some convertible rosemary brushes in here, the ones where you kind of pull out, that turns it into a real brush. And then just your typical old gel pen. So this is the basic. Like if I were to go anywhere, I would bring at least these. Surprisingly, not too much color. My fun, colorful ones are all here. I have like random boxes filled with like colorful markers and stuff all over my table. But this is the to go, the make sure I can create art anywhere setup.
I don't know if this is too much to get into today. And maybe you mentioned it previously, how you modified the tip of your fountain.
Well, yeah, I go to pen shows that happens around the country, and usually they are nib meisters or nib workers is what they call themselves, where they help modify or tune or grind your nibs. Like I have a regular fountain pen that they turn into an architect nib, which gives it a sharp angle that looks like the parallel pens. So things like that, really fun. And of course, I have fun little fountain pens as well for more of those long journaling sessions where I want to like enjoy writing. So I have fountain pens. Yeah.
Oh, well, this is probably, we've got one other question about fountain pens of how to, it says there's lots of customer nib modifications, and like, which one did you pick? Like, and that's
I just turned this medium nib from the Twisby. You can use the medium nib from anyone else. And I just asked them to turn it into a fude. And the characteristics of a fude nib is that it bends upward. I don't know if you can tell here, kind of.
Yeah.
Like it
yeah,
bends. I think Sailor has something like that, right? Too.
Yeah.
Like you can buy it easily on the market. So you can just go ahead and buy a fude nib pen. I don't know if you guys sell it. Maybe.
Not yet.
Yeah, no, those are like what, $12, $15 a pop. Not too expensive. The Sailor Fude nibs, and I love like artists like Mike Dicabara. A lot of urban sketchers, they use Fude nibs because they like to like have variations with their lines. So I am influenced by them to always carry one, and I have the Atramentis waterproof inks in here, which I think you guys sell.
Yeah, we started carrying those last year.
They're so good. They're like, they don't clog the feet, and they're really waterproof.
Yeah.
So,
perfect for doing watercolor over. Yeah. Well, oh, those are gorgeous supplies. And you said you'd do a little like flip through for us, and then maybe even a little doodling that we might even follow along with if anyone has supplies at home.
So I wanted to give you guys like the overall look of how wild this could be. Let me actually turn on another light to see if it could be. Oh, is this better? Probably. So I filled my Hobonichi, right? This is the daily journal. And then I can't say the same for my sketchbooks, but I filled this many. Hold on. This many Traveler's notebook refills.
All last year, in addition to your 2 journals.
All of last year.
Oh my gosh.
So actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I have 4 more that I didn't pull out that I'm still completing. So 2 of them from my Japan trip and one from this current month. So it's in here. So I have a lot. I love documenting. I love journaling. I love drawing, and I think of these as my sketchbooks, really.
Yeah.
So I'll probably try to flip through a few of these. Maybe starting with the Hobonichi. I think that's more fun. So my daily practice kind of journals. Yeah. So you can see, wait, actually I should start with this one. This one's the first year. The first year. So I love sticking in things. Little ephemeras from purchases, stickers, little business cards from restaurants I visit. And then I doodle. I use the micron pens. I watercolor over them with the art toolkit. I put a dash of washi tape underneath and, call out a page. Like, this is the day. My highlight is the food. you'll, you'll see a lot of food drawings in here. This one is like, looking out from the view from my deck. And then in the 17th, so the new year, and this is my dog looking over the deck. I think for that whole thing about like building the habit, you can pick the most mundane things in your life as the main topic. This is a candy pop snack thing I got in Houston. So
you ever do like several days in a batch where you collect a bunch of things and then do like 3 days together?
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes I don't have time to do it every day, and I'll just like on the weekend catch up. So and some days are just journal. Like, this was the period where I was in Taiwan visiting my dad, who was in the hospital. So I just didn't bring anything. I just brought my pens. And then these are like times that I had to sit down at like a local cafe, and I just doodle first. I like doodling to mark the space, and then I like journaling around it to fill it up. So this would be a typical non-decorated page.
Also, I love your little bear tabs. Those are adorable.
I know. I use this is just like a sticky note. I use it to like highlight the pages I wanted to open to.
Oh.
So, yeah, like little doodles when the days are a little bit boring, a little bit mundane.
You've got beautiful looking handwriting script too. I mean, is that something you worked on or you learned when you were younger?
I don't know. I feel like if you look close up, it's not that good.
It just looks nice.
It's just looking nice because it's like
they're so like nice in line. Does the paper have dot grids or anything?
It's a grid page.
You can it's nice
it.
And light though.
The light grid, and food. You can tell my life is like surrounding food. So I would call myself keeping a food sketch journal even.
We've got a couple of questions about your pens and travel. One is if you keep your pens full of ink when you travel, or you fill them when you arrive somewhere. And then if you had like one pen that you would suggest to get started.
One fountain pen, right? I think the Twisby, like I said, was like the most affordable entry level one, like, and that performs well. I like it. It's from Taiwan and country represent, but like it's like got a very big reservoir of ink, so you don't have to worry about running out. And then when you travel, just don't open it. Just don't use a fountain pen on the plane because of the pressure changes. Like, it's gonna ink might spill out, but otherwise it's like pretty normal. Yeah, I use it everywhere. It's got so many scratches on it because I just throw them into my bags. Yeah, I started doodling like this in my Hobonichi in 2014. And if anyone goes back to those OG pages, I think I even showed it in the last one.
I think you may have.
They're so scrappy. Like, I just started doodling, and I wouldn't say like I learned anywhere. It's just like the more you draw, your muscle memory gets more comfortable with like tracing shapes, and like your eyes get better. Like you absorb more, you get better at doing things. So I would say don't feel discouraged if you feel like you can't draw, but just do it more often enough, and it becomes easier each time than every next time, I feel like.
And when you do photographs, so you're just printing those out on your home printer, right?
That's correct. I use my home printer. I have a MacBook, so you know how like you can select 16 photos and then with the layout, just print 16 pages per page and it automatically lays it out for me. And I have a friend who did a YouTube video on it. I can share that link too on how to print photos. But yeah. So this is done with like the TSB, with the Food Day marker with the waterproof ink. And then I just watercolor over it.
I love how little color brings just the simplest things to life. Like that doesn't look like a drawing you spent, an hour on, but just that quick little outline. Oh, so sweet.
And then like, look at this. Like, I love the Art Toolkit palette because I have this regular ephemera. It's a olive, it's a notebook that's an olive color. And I just like decide to paint over the paper that I cut out. And I think it's just so much fun to like play with color. You're not making an artwork, but you're using the palette and you're playing with watercolor. So
I think your emphasis on play is just so true. And I think you've talked about this a little bit in our past demo, but there's a question about like if you ever took a class or if you just through your practice, and I know like meeting up with urban sketchers, developed your drawing and painting.
Oh, yeah. That a lot. I think I learned the best through observing. I never really took classes. I may have like take a look at like YouTube videos. I never really like learned, I feel like on a tuition based class, but just going out to urban sketching meetups like consistently. When I was in Boston, I went out every weekend with the urban sketchers and absorbing their style. Oh, actually, I did take one seminar one year with the urban sketchers, Chicago, but it was about perspective. But like these kind of doodles, I do it almost on a daily basis. And like I explained earlier, I think muscle memory is real. You start out drawing a wiggly circle and then you see those urban sketchers who can draw perfect circles. It's because they did it a lot of times.
Well, you must be like at your 10,000 pages, I wonder, with all those years.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And like honestly, if you look at this one, it's just a mess of lines if you look at it close up.
But
But
so evocative with the color, and you've got those angles that create a space.
yeah, there was these cherry blossoms around in my neighborhood, and so I just decided to paint the whole page. So
do you find it easier to sketch while traveling than at home?
I don't find any difference. I like doing both. I obviously take the smaller traveler's notebook because it's more portable. It's more convenient. The Hobonichi gets heavy and heavier throughout the year. So like I think these two weigh like over like I don't know 50 pounds. Maybe not that much. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. Maybe around 10 pounds, maybe. Yeah, I put in like little tickets when I go see like exhibits. I think collecting and documenting like these things are not art made by me, but like incorporating it into my daily kind of record makes it feel cool. Like, oh, I've done this, done that, and I can share it. And like here's a nothing day. Like I didn't do anything, so I just decided to draw my dog, and again, really scrappy doodling. Yeah,
Just being adorable.
being a goose there. Like actually today, if we have time, I wanted to like do a page, like today's page, and I chose my dog as the topic again. He had this really ridiculous face while he stole my shoe yesterday, so I printed it out. So we'll probably do this together. Yeah. So this is the first half of the year. Some significant pages. I'll keep an eye on the time. I also like documenting my art adventures. So incorporating like.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm on that page.
Yeah, when we did the sketchcraft at Kerry Park.
Oh, that was so fun.
Documenting my art adventures also is a great way to remind myself of the journey I've been on, the little things that made up the experience.
Yeah.
So, again, food motivated. So my page, if I can't think of anything to write, I start with what I ate that day. So this is a s'moresant. You put a s'more into a croissant. So it was viral on TikTok or Instagram, and so I did it. So I tried it. Oh look, and this is the Sketcher Fest from last year. So this is Gabby's amazing sketch. So I stole it and I cut out.
Again.
Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna happen again. So yeah, like this one doesn't have too much drawing, but documenting it through photos, through writing, through the little brochure that I cut out.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. And this one is done with the Twisby, just a full spread of what I ate at this dinner. It was so good. So I wrote out literally. So for those who think I write down anything significant on my journals, I don't. This is literally the menu we ate and the things I ate that day. So, and that's a day, that is the most non-intentional, like most effortless piece of art on that page. Yeah. Cookie laying between my legs.
Your journals remind me of this really lovely book. I'm sure many folks are familiar with, The Book of Delights by Ross Gay. Have you read this book? It's
No,
just
I'm not.
a lovely, sweet book of essays, but just this idea of like finding delight and sort of the practice. And one of his delightful events was like carrying a tomato plant on an airplane. And I just loved, I mean, I'm seeing these in your journals is you find and notice little things in your life.
The quirkier, the better is my motto.
Delighted by it. Yeah.
I like to write down. I feel like I personally take it as a challenge to document things that are so weird or so like to other people it doesn't mean anything, but I documented it, so now it's like something quirky like that meant something to me only, and I feel like that is exactly it, like the delights that only delights me. like no one will notice this reflection, but I'm gonna write that down because it's like it started as the weird thought or a funny joke in me, stuff like that.
You must go throughout your day kind of keeping your eyes open also, just for these little things.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be in a book like this. It could be a few notes, it could be a little sketchbook. I think I would like to treat my sketchbooks this way, as in like, not a full page has to be like a full complete thing, but it could be made up of snippets of just silly little things that you see throughout the day. So again, food, dining with my father-in-law, and I like playing with all kinds of fountain pen ink, so you see a different ink colors all the time. Okay, and this is like, yeah, another big big sketch of my dog. Just really like, this is my life. I wake up, I eat, I work, I walk my dog, I go back to, I eat dinner, and I go to bed.
And you draw somewhere in there.
This is our lives most of the time, it's like nothing too special. And then you have weekends where I went to Pike Place with a friend and I bought postcards. We visited so many stores. We went to the Spheres. I had a gelato, so I squeezed that in there. And so, it could be as fun and as packed as you want it to be, but you can also be like extremely lazy.
You're out on a day like this, you're collecting your ephemera from the day, and you sometimes have your journal with you, or are you taking pictures, and then when you're home, then you're like pasting in your ephemera and using your pictures for some reference?
I don't set rules. I'm fine sketching on location. I also am totally fine sketching from photos. So for me, it's kind of part of that intention is capturing. So I rely very heavily on my phone. I'm a digital millennial, so I'm like, yes, take a photo of everything. And then when I come home, I like sketch. Like this one, I took a photo of my dog pooping in the maple leaf, like the fallen leaf. It's just so cute. And so I had to sketch it out. But things like that, quirky little delights. And I don't remember doing anything except watching this anime. So this one says I finished the show Pluto, and I moving on to reading the manga of the show. So that's it. This is my life for those 2 days, I guess.
I just love your no rules, like that you've got such an emphasis on delight and treat and no rules of this so apparently just a space to play, and the end result just looks extremely satisfying.
It's so satisfying. I don't even notice the empty pages. I don't even know what I did this day. I was like, okay. I think this was the day before I we went to Japan, so I was like blacked out, don't even remember what I was doing. And then my Japan trip, very packed. I went to this restaurant, they have like the menu of the omakase course, and I stole it. I mean, not stole it. They signed it, and I took it and put it in my book. So that's part of the experience now. This one's like a multi-flip situation. I love tipping. I love putting in a ton of things into my journals and making it look so full and at the same time very satisfying. I'll for those asking about photos, I'll share with you the link to that YouTube video that my friend did, which is the complete process of how to print the photos on your computer and then have it be that size, because I did the exact same thing. Yeah. Oh, and look, I had a really good food dish in Japan. It's a bowl of uni on rice, but 5 different types of uni.
You're totally making me hungry, all this like delicious meals.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. This entire page, this drawing brings me the most joy. Just, and obviously I didn't sketch it while I was eating it. I looked at the photo, but drawing it again makes me feel like, I think the process of documenting it again, either at the end of the day or at the end of the week, allows you to relive it a little bit. The poster of the movie The Boy and the Heron, which is really good, highly recommend. Everyone should go watch it. Really fun.
Oh, you must be getting closer to our current date. That movie just came out. Oh, here we are.
Know, this is the December 25th of 2023. So I know I went back and watched Spirited Away, and I drew this little moment from Spirited Away. So yeah, like this is the daily portion, and of course I have a little bit of time. I'll go through. I didn't bookmark too many pages in my Travelers. Before we move on to making a spread.
Oh, thank you, April.
Yeah. So yeah, this is like a trip I made down to the Pacific Northwest Pen Show. So you might ask, like, how is this different from the daily journal? So obviously a daily journal is just 1 page. And sometimes there's just so many things that happen in like a 2-day trip so this is my overflow. It catches all the excess stories, adventures, things I want to use to document this. And this is the Traveler's Notebook. So it's a system with the leather cover, and then you can put in as many refills as you want in it. And it's very mobile, and it's designed to fit like a typical brochure or a boarding pass. It's also really cool, from Japan. So yeah, this is like a page from my Portland trip. This is from Sketcher Fest. This is one of the sketch crawls that I hosted, I think, on Saturday, the day before the market. So I just sketched. This is kind of like an urban sketcher moment here. And then after the Sketcher Fest, I went back again to Edmonds for a day. And then I like sat and like urban sketching here, drew something with my fountain pen with ice cream. It's like and then I also have like really packed days. Like it time skips. So this entry is July, and my next page is immediately a trip to DC in August. So there's no dated, like it's not a daily thing. It's whenever I want to enter this book with an adventure, I do it and then I exit it, whenever. And so there's a lot of like flexibility and freedom, I feel like, to this kind of thing. This is just literally a little outing to a local Thai food place in my neighborhood.
There's a few questions, April. One is, do you use any new highlighters or transparent journaling pens?
That is a interesting question. What do you mean? Transparent journaling?
I'm not familiar about that.
Highlighters? Highlighters, like the really light highlighters. You have to be more specific. I don't understand that question.
And then Lisa's asking, where do the Japanese station stamps go?
Japanese station stamps. Did I flip to like a stamp? Maybe
you might have. Maybe we missed that. Sorry, Lisa.
I mean, I collect stamps wherever. If anywhere has stamps, I love just adding it, kind of like it's an ephemera kind of enthusiast in me is determined to collect every little evidence of I've been.
Yeah.
So I do it randomly. Again, and a sketch of Cookie.
Oh, there's that little guy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
No, I think this is a good time to do a quick spread. I am very fast, so you can see how I go about creating a page. But this is basically a summary of my Traverse notebook. So yeah, if you are up for it, follow me along as I journal in today's entry.
April, it's a real treat to see all of your just collected ephemera, musings, recordings, and sketches. Thank you so much for taking us through that year of your sketches.
So here's how I approach a regular page. It's 12:40. I think I can finish it in 10 minutes if you want, if it's okay.
I've got my sketchbook out. I'm going to follow along.
If we still have time. So you're looking at a page, you're in whatever notebook you have, whatever, and then you just want to like make a little entry. And I started with the motif that like the main thing that excites me the most, and it was Cookie stealing my shoe. But today I also had a little adventure. Like I went to the endodontist this morning. So that was not fun. And they took x-rays of the roots of my teeth. And I just remember thinking, wow, people are looking at baby photos and I'm looking at the bones of my tooth, like in the same way. So that is definitely going into this page.
That's one of those quirky things that you can note and remember.
It's like, yeah, it was so funny because it looks just like a baby photo in the ultrasound. It's like those black kind of like, kind of ultrasoundy view. So it was a circular photo, and it was just this root of my teeth just looking like this. I wanted to remember this moment. It's so silly. And then I'm gonna try to draw it really, and then I was just trying to recreate what I saw on it. So this is a quick sketch, and I'm gonna color it in. This is literally what it looks like. I'm not kidding. If you ever did a CT scan of your roots, this is what it feels like to be an adult who loves eating too much. Really weak enamels. So I don't want to use this one. I want to use the one I talked about, the little flat water brush. So I even just go in with like coloring it immediately. I don't really like think too much about it. I'll make space to write eventually. And this is my portable palette, and I should have cleaned it beforehand, but I don't know. Some people like.
I mean, but they're very honest when they're messy. I mean,
yeah, some people like seeing how wild they are. So I'm just kind of recreating that hazy vibe. This is reminding me of that demo you guys did with one of the instructor who did the moon.
Oh yes.
It's like, this is a CT scan of my tooth.
We've got a comment that someone's going to draw the banana on their table instead. You'll draw your cute dog next.
Oh, I drew bananas in here before. So I have this like weird gadget from Japan. It's called banana hammer. Have you heard of it? It's a banana. They made a hammer in the shape of a Filipino banana, cased all in brass. So you can use it as a hammer.
Oh, wow. No, but I used to have a like Tupperware shaped, it wasn't Tupperware, but like I can't remember the name of it. It was like a special case that went around a banana. So then you could like put it on and it would protect your banana in your backpack.
Yes, things like that.
It was hilarious. But it solved the problem. You throw a banana in your backpack and it's a real risk.
So yeah, I challenge y'all to keep a daily art journal, and then just record the silliest thing that people in the future, if they uncover your notebook from a pile of ashes, they're like, what the heck? What is this thing? So yeah, there's my little moment of the morning. This is expensive. This scan cost me quite a lot of money.
It may look simple.
So I better get my worth out of that CT scan. And then here's like again following the photo. I'm not really like no rules. You can do whatever you want to ensure your drawing process is as accessible and as easy as possible. So I'm just like I'm treating this like a huge sketchbook. Usually, like I said, I write around it, so I'm not even concerned about space. I don't think too much about where I'm gonna place it. And it's weird. No matter how many times I draw dogs, I still have a hard time. I think it's the eyes of an animal. Like the placement determines whether this looks like a monster or a dog. And
And that
some
little
days I fail, and that's fine. Yeah.
and the shape of that little mouth, huh?
Yeah.
Cindy's got a question how the paper in the Hobonichi compares to the Traveler's Journal, if one's thicker or better for watercolor.
Uh, well, these are not watercolor papers for sure. These are not sketchbooks, as you would imagine if you're like a watercolor enthusiast. People look for like heavyweight, cotton, whatever, right? These are Japanese. These are both Japanese paper, the Travelers and the Hobonichi. Hobonichi uses a paper called Tomoe River paper. They made it in Japan specifically for like printing, and it takes watercolor, as in it doesn't bleed through. It wrinkles because it's so thin. It's like so thin. It's 52 GSM. But it doesn't bleed through, which is really amazing.
Wow.
Traveler's Notebook used a paper called MD paper. It's a proprietary paper, also like from a different factory, different brand that Travelers makes. And they are slightly thicker than this Hobonichi paper, Tomoe River paper, I think. I don't know exactly the grams for it, but definitely thicker, but still mostly designed for journaling, like pen, gel pen. Don't do Sharpie on either of those. They will bleed through. But most pens should be fine. And I love drawing on the empty paper just because I feel like it could hold more water. It feels like thicker than this one. But I'm not trying to create like a watercolor painting, right? So as long as it holds like a few layers or a few washes, and being mindful of how much water I use in each stroke, they all like work well enough for me.
And you, with your emphasis on like collecting ephemera, like I've seen you take little also sheets of other like mini watercolor pads or ones that you've cut up. So then you can even just like paste in little watercolor paper.
Yeah, if you want to do it on like real watercolor paper, like this is an example. I recently, on New Year's, I made a ritual to go to Gasworks Park to look at the view of Seattle to kind of feel refreshed. So I used that little agave paper pad that I got from you guys through the New Year kit, this little portable pad. So I painted on location, some on location, some back here, and then I just stick it using the glue tape to put it onto the page, and I journal about it. So, and some people even make their own Traveler's Notebook refills using 100% cotton watercolor paper, and then that kind of best of both worlds. I don't like writing with gel pens on watercolor paper because they're too textured. You know what I'm saying? Like your marks, skips, and stuff. So I prefer these Japanese paper because they're smooth and they handle fountain pen, which is what I enjoy using the most. So yeah, here's Cookie in his little donut bed, just looking so innocent, even though he stole my shoe. Yeah. And then I would just like my doodles don't take too much. I could put more effort into it, but I don't want to because I don't have time. And then if you are like afraid to like approach watercolor, just think of it as a coloring book and you're just filling up shapes with color. I really like how I learned watercolor as an urban sketcher is Mark Taro Holmes, who is the first urban sketcher I was exposed to. And he has this technique called milk tea honey, where you do the base layer first layer, oh, and this paper is very thin, so you can see it like it starts pooling and creating little valleys. But I don't care. I don't mind. Like it doesn't matter to me because it's gonna eventually dry and flatten out. It's just what you have to. I feel like it's kind of those things like if people who really like care a lot about paper properties, then definitely find a good paper to work with you. And I prefer the fact that this notebook allows me to do what I want to do versus like being too particular about paper or watercolor. So
Sounds like so much of this practice for you is about the delight and the practice and like
mm,
finding supplies that bring you joy, and that others,
yeah,
as they play, like find what pen you like the feel of or the paper of. And
yeah, something that allows you to do it versus like getting caught up about, oh, is this the right material? Is this the right tool? Things like that. So this is Cookie.
something I'm attracted to with your notebooks though is like you give yourself the constraint of these books. And so it seems like then you don't have to like make a choice every time you're sitting down a journal. It's in your books.
Oh
And
yeah. I love that it's all together.
Mhm.
It represents my life and I don't have to think too much, like you said, about, well, where should I put this?
Mhm.
It's good enough for this. And like this book is the everything is good enough for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would typically just end it here, honestly, like on this sketch. And then I would like, once these dries, I will write. I have this little tool of like washi tape I constantly keep on my table so I can add to it. I have this fun little tearaway calendar that I could like literally tear away and cut out these little things, put it on here, little decorations if I feel the wind for. Um, and
And with
yeah.
some notes, then you've got a whole day.
And then yeah, I'm gonna write like I went to the endodontist today. This thing costs as much as like having a baby. No, I'm just kidding. Like, and then like here, Cookie stole my shoe. He think he's so smart. The haha jokes on him. This is the decoy shoe. Things like that. Um, and that's my day. Do I use
Oh,
Posca or other acrylic pens? I have them. I use them sometimes. But I like watercolor just because it's the fastest.
mhm,
It's the
mhm.
fastest. Yeah.
Oh, well, April, as we start to wrap up, I just have a question of what are you looking forward to this year?
This year, oh, so many fun trips domestically because I work for Travelers company. So we are going to a lot of shows, pen shows, to showcase the Travelers notebook and other products that we sell from our company. Um, I'm super excited for the summer because there's the Sketcher Fest that's happening again. And this year I want to like make more art. Like even though I already make art, I want to do more. I want to do more art. On like larger canvases or more on my sketchbooks. And I think like a lot of eating. I have a lot of foodie trips planned for the rest of this year on all these separate locations. So I'm really excited for that. Um, yeah, just excited to be more. This year I have a word of the year. Oh, when I do these things, I start out with like an intention to
Ooh.
start the year, like a word of the year. So this year, my year is gonna be unapologetic. So I'm gonna be set good boundaries and do what I love and not be like worry about what people think of it. So I'm gonna be even more unapologetic with what I document, what I keep track of, and then also be less afraid of failure when I try new things. So
Mm.
doing more art experimentations, just kind of putting myself out there without feeling like, oh, what will they think of me? So I'm unapologetic.
Oh, that's inspiring. I'm gonna have to absorb a little bit of that over here.
Yeah. So this
Oh,
a good, yeah, typically I have a word of the year page, but this year I covered it with like a lyric of songs that I
mm.
really like. So
Oh. Well, April, let
now
me
it's
just
dried. It's dried
um,
and it's like flattening out already. So
oh, look how fast it's dried too. Oh, and I see some questions about Sketcherfest. I think if you Google it, there might be a little sign up list to learn more. As soon as we know more, we'll be posting and sharing about it. Last year, Art Toolkit, we were a sponsor and participants and loved it. And April was there, and we had so much fun hanging out. And I know Art Toolkit, we're 100% looking forward to participating again and doing what we can. It was such a blast. And April, let me pull up our faces. This has been so much fun. And I just really appreciate you taking the time to share with us all of your projects and your inspiration. And we might have you again next year for another little review. It's so fun to check in with you. And your unapologetic and adventurous and just delightful approach is inspiring. And I know that everyone watching is inspired too. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's so much fun, and I hope this helps someone. I looking at my root canal drawing, I'm like, oh, does this help someone? Like,
I encourage everybody to check out April's Instagram and the Stationery Cafe podcast. Follow what she's doing, and stay tuned to our toolkit, to our newsletter. Especially is the best place to learn first about our different projects and upcoming live demos and other workshops and events. So we hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and thank you again, April.
yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.